All right, kids, how are we doing today? Today, we are doing my favorite thing ever. For those who've been watching the channel and know me a little bit, you know I'm being facetious. Working on goats today. I had a buddy that had some goats he needed to get done, but we are actually going to capitalize on this because I bought a new toy. So we're going to do a knife review video today. This is the Jero 4-inch skinning knife. These are made for, essentially, goats, deer, sheep, pigs, smaller animals. The reason skinning knives work so well is, especially when it comes to skinning, what you're worried about is how much of the blade is actually cutting what you're doing, how much blade is actually in contact. Now, I've skun out a lot of goats and sheep, nothing but a straight inch boning knife, or 6-inch straight blade boning knife. But when you're doing that, only about that much of the blade is actually on the meat. That's why skinners are so nice. You guys have seen me use this a bunch. This is the Victorinox 6-inch. Actually, this one, yeah, I think it's the 6-inch skinning knife. And it has such a drastic sweep on it because as you're skinning, you're starting the cut here, and by the time you're done, it's touched every inch of this. Now, on a smaller animal, like a goat, there's not that much real estate to really move that knife where you want it. So, that's where this guy comes into play. You're going to be starting your cut right here, and by the end, it's going to be right here. So, I'm super interested to try it. We're going to jump right into it. If some people are noticing this weird little thing right here on my hat, I got some new Bluetooth microphones. So we're trying them out, trying different positions to hopefully get some better audio, especially here in the shop where everything gets kind of echoey. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, we're going to switch up camera angles and we're going to get going on this. So we'll see you guys in a second. All right, so we're going to get going on this. We'll hone this guy up a little bit. And we are going to start this like I do everything else. Start by taking these front legs off. Especially on goats and things like deer and stuff, you can see exactly where the joint is. It's going to be right here. There's a big old bulb right where that is. So, just going to do this. Ooh, I already like this. All right, pop that joint open. Once you use a knife long enough, it gets to the point where it becomes an extension of whatever you're doing. So when you have a longer skinning knife like this, the point of which you are putting the force in is, like I said, right around here. So that's a bit of a distance for you from your hand to where the knife actually is. What's nice about this guy is you can see that point of contact is so much closer and you have a little more control of it. So once again, do the same on the back legs, making sure we don't cut too far down so we don't cut that tendon. We'll score that, pop that. And also, as you can see, this is just my pig cradle. You guys have seen me use this on pigs a bunch if you've watched the channel for a while. What I did is kind of rednecked it a bit, but it works, is take rope and 2 pieces on here. That way, the whole thing doesn't sink in. Because as you can see, this thing is ready to sink all the way through. So this gives me a little bit more leeway to be able to have it on the cradle. So we're going to start these incision cuts. I'm going to switch to my straight blade for this, just because it is easier. Kind of like that. All right, so nothing to see here. So, like I said, we're going to make our incision cuts, and they're very similar to doing a beef, doing a pig, doing a deer. All of my incision cuts are basically the same. I want to open up these back legs. Once again, making sure we don't cut the tendon, because that is what we're going to hang this little critter from. Good looking meat. This is I forget what it's crossed with, but this is a boar goat cross. Boar goats are a South African breed. They are primarily for meat. So as you can see, these guys got a good fat content. And my buddy babied these things quite a bit. So they got all the fresh forage they wanted, along with some grain and stuff like that. So these will actually be pretty nice. All right, and we're going to leave those front legs on. Or front legs with no incision on them. That is, I have moved towards doing that more. It's less hair that's being cut, and you're able to kind of just sleeve those guys off. All right, so now we're back to our 4-inch. And yeah, I like this a lot. So I always hold my knife like this. So there's a little bit of the blade, trying to get this angle right, a little bit of the blade beyond my finger. But once again, I have full control over this blade wherever it goes. So I am already excited for deer season. Just making a couple cuts with this guy, it's going to make my life a lot easier. Oh yeah, I like it. I like it, kids. All right. Once again, with these back legs, we'll go ahead and drop this hook a little bit, make life a little easy. Drop it a little bit more. What I like to do is, yeah, you can see a good angle on that. I do this all my beef, all my pigs. You pinch this back behind the ligament right here and start an incision down. Again, being very careful to make sure that you're not going to be cutting the ligament. And it just makes skinning out the rest of this a lot easier. Again, I skun out quite a bit of this. I had to get a rope on here to get it back up, but I will show you on the next side that it'll be a little bit easier. All right, so open this up. And you know what? With this guy, we're just going to go around. Goats and sheep. They're so easy to skin out. Same with deer. The skin is very loose on them. If you get them fresh, I mean, these guys were walking around about 15 minutes ago, so can't get much fresher than that. And with a little bit of pressure, you're able to just pop the skin right off these. We're going to pop these udders off. I say it again, I need to make a freaking t-shirt. Tension, tension, tension. Tension and leverage. As long as you're putting tension on this, I have almost zero force going into this knife because, one, it's a very sharp knife. It's brand new, and I put it on the sharpening stone. So you put a little bit of tension on this hide, the skin's going to pop right off. All right. I'm gonna pop this leg off, put this one on. Like I said, just makes life a little bit easier. Now, I don't love skinning inside, but I'm not going to get the tractor going to lift 2 goats. So, but just know there will be more cleanup if you're slaughtering and if you're skinning out and slaughtering inside. There just is. Amount of blood, especially with goats, they always got a good amount of cocoa pebbles packed in there. So now we're going to come on this side, and you guys will be able to see it a little bit better. So I'm going to grab that piece of skin right there by the paunch, or the paunch is up here, right over here by the flank. And just move the blade down. Again, I'm able to do very quick slices, but again, getting the same desired effect as a regular skinning knife. As an example, again, here's your regular size skinning blade. If you were to use this correctly, you would start it here, and as you can see, by the time, see, I'm digging into the meat there, because by the time you start to get to the sweep, you're already past where you're actually trying to cut. So, I'm going to head back to this guy, start skinning down this neck here. Get my fat head out of the camera angle. All right, so now we're over here up at the front leg. Right there, you can kind of see the elbow coming through. Just open that up a little bit more. And what I like to do, now that I've got this kind of hooked, take my knife, pop it in, and just make that cut from the inside. And what you're doing there is you're not cutting any of the hair. If you go in from the top, you're going to be cutting a ton of hair out of it. And there you got a nice clean shank. Come on this side, we'll do the same thing. Yeah, guys, I can already tell I am really going to thoroughly enjoy this knife. If you're doing a ton of deer, I already know a couple people that have bought this already, so I'm excited for that. I will post the link to this in the description. But I give this very high marks for sure. And again, I've had so many freaking knives over the years, and I've always wanted a smaller skinning blade. I think this will do really well with pork too. Again, same reason. Although pork hide is not the same as beef, lamb, or goat hide. Like I said, and you can see it. You've seen it as I've gone along. It falls off so much easier because it's a much looser skin to the animal, as opposed to pig hide, where if anyone in here has ever skun a pig, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Their hide is attached to their fat. So when you're skinning a pig, you're doing the work. And having something like this that will allow you to make more shallow cuts closer to the animal is going to be a game changer. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to raise this grill up a little bit. All right. All right, change this camera angle a bit because we're starting to get. Oh, hey, funny seeing you here. Pay no attention to this goat is a slightly different color. We'll call it movie magic. No, for some reason, my phone decided it was overworked and underpaid and didn't want to film anymore. So I was talking to myself for a good 10 minutes. So luckily for me and you, we have 2 goats to do. So I basically got everything back to where I was when the last video left off. We got him up. The only thing I didn't show before I turned the camera on is pulling the meat off around the esophagus and zip tying that, so that way none of those fun stomach acids and juices get all over the meat. So we're going to come back, finish skinning out these back legs, and get these ready to lift the rest of the way. Now, I don't remember if I said this in before the camera shut off or after. I'm pretty sure it was after, so I'll go ahead and say it again. It's not always, I don't love slaughtering animals inside. It is what it is. I wasn't going to get the tractor going for 2 goats. So we're just going to do that. You just got to know that there's going to be more cleanup, whether it's blood or hair and water and poop and all that. Luckily for goats, they got little cocoa pebbles that clean up fairly easy. Speaking of, we're just going to cut right through the bung. We'll go ahead and kind of pull out what's there so we don't get it all over the meat. Toss that in there. All right, we cut through that. We're going to cut right through the tail. There's that. All right, now we're on the back. Now we're on easy street. So we're going to go ahead and lift this guy the rest of the way up. And, oh good, Cradle wants to come with us. It's always fun. All right, so we're going to go ahead and angle this a little bit better and try not to shut it off again. Perfect, there we go. I will have to clean off my phone now because that's pretty gross. So now, again, I really, really, really like this. If you're doing deer or anything like that, smaller animals, pick yourself up one of these. Once again, I don't remember if I said it when I wasn't talking to anyone or if I said it while I was filming. The link to this will be in the description. But as you can see, you can get good short strokes, easy people, and get the desired result you're looking for out of a skinning knife. So I am very happy with this purchase, and I foresee using this guy for a very long time. I'm excited to see how it does on pigs. So we will see. All right. So now it's just kind of a rotation game. Just move down as we go. Put tension. And bring it all the way down to the skull. Yeah, I love this. I am so happy. I was hoping it was going to work this well, and I'm very pleasantly surprised. All right, now that we're at the base of the skull, we're going to pop this head right off. What I'm going to do is, to make life easier, because I'd like to show you the atlas bone, I'm just going to pop the rest of this hide off so I'm not fighting it. The majority of the time I just leave the hide and the head together. It makes life a little bit easier. But you know what? I'm an educator now, so kind of got to do something. So now we have the head attached to this. I'm going to pop you in a little bit closer, and I'll probably zoom in on the edit too. There we go. So, as you can see, we're at the base. You can see the tendons coming down here. What you're going to do, you're going to make a cut right here. And what you're going to find is what is called the atlas bone. We're going to get down here and get a better angle. There she is. This is also a very, I'm not going to say dangerous, but slightly annoying part of the job, because it didn't do it this time, thankfully. But as you can see right here, move some of that blood out of the way, this is the atlas bone. This sits in the cradle of the spinal cord, and that's what allows the animal to actually move its head around. So you can take it off very easily with just a knife. See, that's the brainstem. Pop that off. And we're good to go. So I say that is a dangerous part. And we're back again. So I say that's a dangerous part mostly to be funny, because I cannot tell you how many times I've been talking while skinning out deer, cut that bone, and had spinal fluid just shoot right in my mouth because I'm talking. Shocking, I'm talking, I know. And also, as you saw with this, as soon as you cut that tendon, this head pops right up. So if there's any blood, stomach contents, or spinal fluid on that, guess where it's going? Straight in your face. So be wary, be careful, and I don't know, it's just one of those things you got to deal with. So we're going to go ahead and gut this guy out, because I figure I got you here. And we're going to go ahead and first bung this guy out, or gal. Again, here I am misgendering people. It's 2023. So, I'm going to go ahead, get a hold of this, and follow the inside of the pelvis. A lot of people get spooked at this point because they're like, I don't want to cut the poop. Guess what? There's going to be poop. It is what it is. Whether it's a goat, deer, pig, cow, whatever, there's going to be poop. You can wash and cut off any excess that gets gross. It is what it is. But these animals are pretty hardy, and you can do quite a bit of cutting around to get done what you need to get done. See, there's poop right there. Fun stuff. I'll go through and rinse all that out after. And we'll go ahead and spin her around. We're going to pop off the rest of this mammary fat. Again, this is the fat that's around the udders. Not great fat. You don't really want that in your burger. It's not awful, but it's also not the greatest. Once again, be careful. I will say, be very careful not to cut the bladder. Then you will have a very bad day. You're not cutting that off. Actually, we're going to play around with this skinning knife again. With this, what you can do is, once again, hold it like this, put it at an angle, and cut out. So like I said, you can see that my finger is over the tip of the blade. So I'm not going to be stabbing anything, but I'm also able to make a decent cut all the way down. Go ahead, slide this over out of frame. All right. Who wants breakfast? Yuck. All right. Yes, and again, as you can see, these guys were really nice and fatty. Again, this customer is not saving any of the suet or anything like that. But again, suet on an animal is a fantastic indicator on health. The fact that there's this much suet on a goat, it makes me good to see. This was my buddy's first forte into raising a ruminant. He had his ups and downs with it, and finally got to the point where he's like, hey, you got to kill these things. So, because I'm a good friend, we helped him out. So what I also said before, I'll reiterate, I went through, and I did not do this on the last one, it was a pain in the butt, is I went through and cut and loosened the esophagus down in here. So that way, as you're about to see, you can just pull everything right out. Yep, there it is. All right. He also didn't want to save any of the organs and stuff like that. So, yes, I am throwing the heart and liver out. I have no use for it at the moment, and I don't want to deal with getting it cleaned up for dog food. So, look and make sure everything's kind of clean in here. Those lymph nodes out. No cocoa pebbles kicking around. And we are good. Yep. So, to finish this off, what I'm going to... how the heck did it get on the neck? All right, so what we're going to do is... Where that was, I'm just going to cut that off. Once again, I don't have floor drains in here, which becomes a pain in the butt. But we're going to show you my famous method. It's not famous. Everyone does it. I always wipe these down with a wet paper towel. And what that does is it pulls off any hair that is going to be stuck on the animal. A lot of people have a fear of getting their meat wet. Once again, easy. They have a fear of getting the meat wet. They think it's going to go bad because of it, and it's not. I spray everything down. If I'm outside on the slaughter block, everything gets hosed down, everything gets sprayed down. What you don't want to do is have prolonged soaking. And again, I'm sure all those people in the South, if they're watching this, going, well, I put my deer in an ice chest for a week and it comes out great. Fantastic. Good for you. I don't like it. You're losing all of flavor, in my opinion, and stuff like that. And that's how things somewhat go rancid sometimes. So now you can look at that. That's a very nice, clean carcass. I'm at the point now where I don't really weigh any of my goats or sheep. I just charge a flat rate because goat's a goat. But realistically, this guy's probably 60 pounds. It's not huge. It's not a bad looking animal. So that's pretty much it on this. I'm not sure if I will be doing a cutting video on this. I might do some filming for some TikToks and some shorts and stuff like that. But I already do have a goat video out, which once again, the customer was kind of like, just kind of wing it and see what you want to do with it, which again, for a butcher with a YouTube channel is gold. He wants this as well, but once again, I already have something like that up, but I might do a little bit of filming. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you're looking for a fun podcast to listen to, last night I was on Toolman Tim's podcast. We had a butcher roundtable. Super fun conversation. Just kind of talking about different parts of the meat industry, different livestock we raise, why we raise them, and our opinions on a lot, whether you want it or not. We're pretty good at giving that. So go ahead and check that out. I'll put the link to that in the description of this video as well. And also, if you're watching today, right now on, I think today is the last day of July, go buy your tickets to SRF. I will be down there with Josh the Renegade Butcher. We're going to be doing butchering demonstrations, for pigs and stuff like that. It's going to be a super fun. It's in Camden, Tennessee, and it's going to be a fantastic time. But today is the last day for early bird pricing. On August 1st, it goes up to, I think it's $95 a ticket, because right now they're $75. So make sure, if you're interested in that, again, the Self-Reliance Festival, this is going to be my first year going, but I cannot wait. A bunch of people, a bunch of content creators, a bunch of people that just real like-minded individuals looking to better themselves and their education and stuff. That'll be super fun. So I'm going to go ahead, get this guy in the cooler. I hope you guys have a great day.